I've been wanting to make a Christmas video for a long time, but the problem is, Christmas was never really all that special for me. Growing up in a household where Christmas wasn't considered a major holiday, I only ever saw it as a time when I got days off from school and got games and toys once in a while. Which, don't get me wrong, at the ages of 6 to 14 goes fucking hard, but it was never the family bonding, snuggling up in a warm blanket, sipping hot cocoa experience that was sold to me on TV. Then I remembered a movie my girlfriend recommended 3 years ago, a movie about hope, family, and second chances. A movie that takes place in Christmas but strips away the glitz and glam, forgoes the flashy red-green colors, and gives us a raw glimpse into the lives of people we hardly give a second thought about. Because the characters in this movie aren't fantastical. They're not the rich family we dream we can be someday. They're the exact opposite. They're broken, often misunderstood, and most notably, homeless. Oh, and I think people call them computer science students. Tokyo Godfathers follows 3 characters. Gin, an alcoholic gambler, Hana, a trans woman and former drag queen, and Miyuki, a teenage runaway who left home after an argument with her dad. On paper, these 3 should have nothing to do with each other. The fact that they're even together in one room is already a sight to see. It's interesting. Homelessness doesn't discriminate, but on one faithful Christmas Eve night, their lives would turn completely upside down. During their dumpster dive looking for a Christmas gift for Miyuki, they stumble upon a newborn baby, discarded and left to die in the cold. After a bit of back and forth, with Gin wanting to hand the baby to the police and Hana wanting to keep it, they decide to temporarily adopt the baby and take a journey across Tokyo to find the parents themselves. What I love about this movie is that they chose to go with homeless people rather than the typical rich family where we get to explore their second mansion. This movie isn't afraid to show you the harsh realities that homeless people have to deal with. The disgusted stares on the train, the winces and covered noses. One day they're attending a sermon for free food, and the next they're getting battered with pipes simply for existing. And what's insane is that they don't even make a big deal out of it, because it's meant to show that this is a regular occurrence for the homeless. It's brutal. Gin is introduced to us as a brash, lying alcoholic. He lies about how he was a competitive cyclist, and in a desperate attempt to make money to pay for his daughter's medical bills, he threw a race but got caught, eventually leading to the death of his child, followed by the death of his wife shortly after. Yeah, it was all fake. Dude just gambled the money away and fell into debt. He made a whole new schizo life for himself to hide his shame. Then there's Hana, who always dreamed of becoming a mother, to have a baby in her arms and to give it a proper life, something she never had after her mom decided to abandon her as a baby. And Miyuki, a 16-year-old runaway who stabbed her father after assuming he killed her cat. These characters are all troubled, and while I can't say that I relate exactly to their experiences, I can also see a little bit of myself in all 3 of them. There's a scene in the movie where Miyuki gets kidnapped and they lose track of her, so Gin and Hana try to find her. Eventually, Gin gives up, and Hana chooses to pursue Miyuki herself, calling Gin human trash, because he's abandoning yet another group of people he really cares about. And so during one of his drunken tirades, he finds another homeless man lying lifeless on the street. Same clothes, same hair, same bag, same everything. And I think this was supposed to be a reflection of what Gin was going to be like if he continued to be ashamed of himself without really doing anything about it. He's also going to end up alone. He even physically cringes when the old man says he reminds him of a younger version of himself. I see myself a lot in Gin in this situation. I remember promising myself this year that I was going to try something different, step out of my comfort zone a little bit, and explore different kinds of content that I can make. But whenever I try to think about doing something experimental, I'm always reminded that, oh, what if I become irrelevant trying to do these things that I want to do? So I didn't do anything. I followed the same formula I've always done. And while I proved myself right that I would get views by doing it, there was one moment that really clicked for me, that I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing. Because I would release a video and think to myself, oh wow, this is my best performing video in a long time. Well, I knew it was gonna do well anyway. And I know, hearing someone who gets hundreds of thousands of views and not being happy about it sounds extremely spoiled, but I can't argue that that's how I felt. And it's only when I started reflecting when I realized that I was doing it all wrong. People came for the video, but they didn't really stick around for me. And so I think my long-winded point is that seeing Gin see his potential future in the old man slowly dying in his home, it made me see the trajectory of what my channel will look like and how my relationship with my videos would turn out if I kept going on this road. Hana, on the other hand, had to deal with loss. The loss of her mother after she abandoned Hana, the loss of her husband who passed away, and and now the threat of losing Miyuki and Gin, one who was kidnapped and one who was beaten to near death. Without getting into too much detail, I dealt with a lot of loss this year. Basically, it was major event after major event, to the point that we saw the same dude in the funeral home twice in the span of a month. And he was like, "It's you again?" It's funny because it's so outlandish to think about. That really made me think about the fragility of everything and everyone in my life. So seeing Hana react to her situation the way that she did is totally justified. And I admire her for how mature she handled each situation, how she willingly let go of the baby despite wanting to become a mother, how she decided not to go back to her drag mom after physically attacking a customer that was rude to her, and how she accepts that by cutting off Gin from her life, he's going to be able to return back to his family as a result. There's no doubt that these actions bring her unimaginable pain, but she knows that doing them will make others happy. I'm really glad that it's reciprocated though. As seen in the end when the baby is reunited with her mom, she's given the opportunity to become a godfather, and despite attacking the customer, her drag mom still welcomes her back with open arms. It tells me that no matter how much it pains me, there will be people around to help you get through it. Miyuki reminds me of myself when I was a teenager. I don't recall stabbing my dad with a bread knife, but I did have the occasional outburst and argument with my parents. I didn't mean any of it, and I would almost always feel guilty at the end of the day. It's just what families do. They fight, get angry for a while, and make up. I love the familial bond that the characters have with each other. Gin plays the role of the hard on the outside, soft on the inside father. Hana's the overprotective mother who knows what's best for everyone and is the glue that holds the family together. And Miyuki is the child that they have to protect. It tells me that you don't even have to be blood related to experience the warmth of a home. That home is where you feel the most comfortable, surrounded by the people you care about. And so, despite their troubled pasts, the tone of the movie is very hopeful, and that's embodied by the baby that they find, who they name Kyoko. Kyoko serves as a second chance for these characters, because despite their shortcomings, despite going through hell and back, Kyoko allows Gin to find the softness inside him that he actually cares about the people in his life, he just doesn't want them to feel ashamed when they're around him. Throughout the film, we see Gin take the initiative, telling Hana to go boil some water for the milk to feed the baby. The two homeless guys that tell Miyuki to avoid them because Gin would probably beat the shit out of them if they did something to her, indicating that Gin sees Miyuki as a child of his own. And despite losing all his money in his gambling addiction, he still tried to save 30,000 yen to give to his daughter in hopes that it would ease the burden of him not being in her life. The money that he willingly gave up to Hana because she desperately needed it for her medical bills. And then we get to Hana, who, despite seeming overly emotional to the point that you'd think it would cloud her judgment, is actually the most mature person you'd ever meet. She never puts herself in front of others, no matter how much it would benefit her. We see this right at the start when she wants to keep Kyoko, but eventually decides that it's not her place to determine this baby's future, to put her personal interest of becoming a mother over the baby actually getting to meet her biological parents. That's why she calls herself the Blue Devil, a story about sacrificing one's personal interests over the happiness of others. In the hospital scene, Hana willingly lets go of Gin, exposing the lies that he's been telling his daughter in hopes that there will no longer be any reason for him to run away from them, knowing that his daughter will accept him for who he is regardless. But Hana does this all with the knowledge that she's going to be alone, as she has always been. And lastly, with Miyuki, who is so incredibly compassionate. I think the first instance of this is when Gin and Hana came back from the sermon, and Miyuki accidentally insults Hana, calling her an old man. And when Hana expresses to her that she can be called anything except a man, Miyuki learns that, and catches herself, bites her tongue when she was about to make another slip. I think she shows an incredible amount of empathy towards the people around her, knowing Gin and Hana's weak points and never pushing those boundaries. She even becomes like a big sister to Kyoko. Much like the cat Angel that she adopts, she's very protective over Kyoko despite not really having any relation to her. And this is shown by the fact that she probably has the most amount of screen time with Kyoko holding on to the baby, and is even the first to the scene when the baby's life is in danger. I think the theme of second chances is also compounded by the fact that there's always more than one near-death experience that they're a part of, and the only reason why they're able to avoid these circumstances is because they were taking care of the baby, Kyoko. Something that Hana even says at the start, Kyoko is a Christmas miracle. Whenever they're pushing to try and find the mother, they're almost gifted a way forward through these very weird coincidences, like finding the Yakuza boss stuck on the car, or even in the end when they go to the hospital to treat Hana's illness and Gin's biological daughter is working at that hospital. Christmas may not be as extravagant as I believed growing up, but as long as I spend this day to reflect on my life throughout the year, as long as I have people around to laugh and warm my home, and as long as I hold on to this hope that things will get better, then maybe that's what makes this day so special. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a Happy New Year.